Chairman, well said, my friend from Louisiana. I think that that really sums it up, and the nexus here. You just can't separate this out. And I think we're all trying to find easy answers. How many people here at this hearing today have asked you, you know, what are the tools that we can be using? We want a quick fix. And our reality is that the fix comes when you have control over the resource, when you can ramp up your production rather than going tin cup in hand to another country or to the OPEC nations and say, pretty please, we don't like the prices that we're paying. Can you guys do more? And so there are no easy fixes. I listened with interest the discussion about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. When I was sitting up there as chairman or ranking member, I fought to defend the resources that are in the SPR, not using them as a piggy bank to kind of bail us out when we don't like the high prices. And you know, whoever is in the White House needs to have a little political relief. It's not about political relief. But I also know that there's no easy button on the SPR either. We've already put in place numerous sales to get resources and revenues for things that are totally unrelated to the price of oil. And we know that those particular sales are in off years. So for us to say, well, we're just going to go sell some more oil from the SPRO, if anybody thinks that that's an easy fix to today's price at the pump, my friend from Arizona mentions that gas at the pump in Arizona is $3.69. I was home this weekend, and I was looking for it and couldn't find it less than $3.80, and it was somewhere between $3.80, $3.90 back home, and that was in Anchorage. And in the community that my folks live in down in Southeastern, they're paying about $4.20, I think it is. So I mean, this is real, and it's impacting every aspect of people's lives, and it is about really a level of equity and fairness to individuals. And these pressures are hard, but we cannot deceive people into thinking that there is some easy button out there that we just haven't pushed yet because we're waiting for the right political leverage. This is about our ability to produce. And Mr. Bryce, I really love what you said there at the end in response to Senator Cassidy about our reality with moving towards renewables. I'm a huge advocate of doing more with renewables, but you have to have the base to start with, and that base is the minerals that we will need. And so we've got to be talking about how we're going to incent and put into place those mechanisms. I wanted to raise this issue to Mr. Nally and Mr. Gould because I think, Mr. Bryce, you were asked this question by another member here, and you said that that's not your bailiwick here. But this is relating to crude exports. I worked very hard some years back to lift the ban on domestic crude oil exports. And, you know, it looks like the Biden administration has kind of walked back some of that as an idea, but they were exploring the possibility of restricting domestic crude oil as part of an attempt to counter these rising prices. But if you go back, you look at the 2015 EIA report at the time, it actually indicates that the reverse is true, that fewer export restrictions would likely have either no overall impact on domestic prices or perhaps or would drive those prices down. So I guess the question that I would like to have Mr. Nally and Mr. Gould respond to is how would more restrictive oil export policies impact our domestic prices? So if you can begin first, Mr. Nally.
Sure. Well, it's always a great question about, importing and export of crude oil. I mean, as a basis, the U.S. refineries are built to work on the heavier crudes that come out. It's imported, and the crude oil out of the United States is lighter than the export. So we're you know, it's an international market, and we're very dependent upon the international market. So if we cut off crude oil exports, we're still going to have a tremendous amount of imports to meet the U.S. needs.
People don't understand that so much of this is related to the refining capacity that we have domestically. Right. Mr. Gould, can you respond as well? Thank you.
Yeah, I would concur with the remarks just made by my colleague from the EIA. The U.S. Flows of crude and refined products to and from international markets are complex. They're to do with different refinery configurations and different grades that are required in different parts of the system. So I would, I mean, there's an easy way to try and simplify this debate, but in practice, these flows are quite complicated.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Chairman, no easy button here. Thank you.
No easy button.
Good hearing.
Senator Lee.
Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to both of you for being here, all of you, I should say.